Self-improvement is great, but it doesn't work for most people. Why? Because most of us don't really take it seriously. We think we're improving, but in reality, we're mostly just clowning around. Simple question: how many self-improvement videos have you watched in the past? Can you count it? Or how many self-improvement books have you read? Did they bring you to the place in which you want to be in life? If they did, then you already are an expert and you don't need to watch this video. But if they still didn't, here's the secret. Theory without practice is worthless, or close to worthless, and therefore, gaining wisdom without applying it is useless, or close to useless. In even simpler terms, consuming stuff that's supposed to help you in itself has not much value. It gains value only when you do something more with it than just consume it. It becomes valuable only when you apply it. Most people don't bother applying what they've learned. Think about elementary school and maths. After the teacher explains the basics of multiplication and division, does he hope that all the children understand everything perfectly and immediately become experts at it? No. The teacher then asks the children to do as many exercises as possible before finally giving them a test. Kids don't become good at maths simply by looking at someone do the maths for them. They need to practice it themselves. It's the same with self-improvement. This video isn't about basic self-development concepts like working out, meditating or reading books. Those are easy and surface level. The hard part is applying the stuff that's deeper than the surface level. Different philosophies, emotional control, shifting your mindset, changing who you are and how you think. Most people will never get good when it comes to deep levels of self-improvement. How many times did it happen to you to react very emotionally to a situation and then regret that, even though you thought you have good emotional control? How many times did it happen to you to feel resentment at your situation, even though you thought you're pretty experienced in stoicism? This is the difference between hearing or reading or talking about something and actually applying it. Think about toddlers. They see adults standing up, walking and running. They see how they do it, and then they try to do the same. But before they get even remotely good at it, they fail hopelessly very many times. It's the same with stoicism, for example. Over a year ago, I read one of the Stoicism classics, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. The book was great, to say the least, but the thing is, I read it, tried applying it, but I wasn't trying for long enough to get good at it, and then I forget about it. Toddlers need very many tries to learn how to stand, more than we need to learn how to be somewhat stoic. If they just stopped trying at some point, which fortunately in this case is unlikely, well, they probably could as well be adults unable to walk normally. And that's what happened to me. I only read the book once, and after a while I forgot the principles because of not practicing them enough and not refreshing my knowledge at least. It's the same with many things in life. Many people seem very smart when talking about something, but they're clowns when it comes to applying it in practice. Jesus talked about it. It's right here in the Gospel. And Epictetus stressed about it very heavily in his discourses. But how do we actually apply what we learn? There is not one clear answer. It's something we learn as we mature. But here's something that lately helped me extremely much. It is self-awareness. If you watch my YouTube channel regularly, you probably know that our initial reactions are often irrational. Our initial reactions are our emotions and our subconscious thoughts. They come from our instincts and from our habits. Meaning they come from our fast brain, and we are not our fast brain. We are our logical brain, which is the slow brain. When something happens, we get initial thoughts and emotions, but then it is our choice, whether we react according to them and do the dumb thing, or use our logical brain and do the wise thing. Self-awareness in that context is our awareness of that moment. When we feel an emotion or get a random thought, but we're quick enough to override them with our logic. That moment of self-awareness is that moment of realization. Hey, I feel something, but I don't have to let it control me. I've made another video about it in the past. I'll give it to you at the end of this one. The thing is, in this state of self-awareness, meaning in this state of, okay, I can decide how I react, we can choose what we want to do further. In this state you can further decide to enter the state of emotional awareness, which is about identifying your emotions and naming them, which is the core of intrapersonal emotional intelligence. Or you can decide to think about something stoic. For example, okay, stuff happened, it's natural. Or asking yourself if your current situation is under your control or beyond your control. Or if you're a Christian, when you get a bad thought about someone else, thanks to being aware you can ask yourself, hey, How do a true Christian react in such situation? I'm supposed to love my neighbor, not to give in to anger and resentment. This short moment of self-awareness is the prerequisite to practicing anything. If you want to dig deeper than the vast majority of self-improvers, be self-aware and identify daily situations in which you can put what you've learned into practice, instead of reacting how your habits tell you to. You become mature when you learn how to control yourself, instead of letting your reactions control you. Self-awareness is the key to breaking our bad habits and bad thinking patterns and switching them for the better ones. You're not gonna think positively if you only read about that, but when you actually identify the moments when you don't think positively and decide to consciously change your thoughts. Self-awareness is not the only method, but still, it's one of the best methods to take control over our lives. If my advice helps you become more self-aware, don't be shy. Go and slash the subscribe button into a million pieces. A like or comment would also be nice. Thanks a lot. Also, it is not like I am an expert. I often find myself reacting very emotionally, or following my initial thoughts, or overally, straight up not applying the vast majority of the stuff I read about because of various reasons. But the thing is, self-awareness is a really game changer, and it's something that comes with practice. That's literally what I'm talking about since the beginning of this video. Don't expect yourself to become much better just by watching this video. Instead, focus on applying what you've learned. You should actually blame yourself for not applying it. It's also a strategy that works. Applying stuff teaches you much more than reading. Be ready to live life, because if you're not, then videos like this one are a waste of time. Knowing what to do is just the beginning of a battle, and mastering it takes months or even years of practice, because, well, that's how long it can take to weaken your old neural connections in the brain and solidify the new ones. That's how neuroplasticity works, with a bit of bro science flavor. And when I said that Jesus also talked about the importance of putting what you learned into practice, well, there it is. It is solely in the context of Jesus' teachings, but I think it is also applicable to other things. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. Matthew 7:24-27. And if you're a Christian, use this wisdom for your faith. When you find yourself detached from your initial reactions, simply ask yourself, am I acting how Jesus would want me to? Well, that's something I should also try on myself. And as I mentioned earlier, here is my video about self-awareness. It is similar to this one, but talks about the concept more deeply and focuses a bit more on the neurological aspect. I think you'll like it. Thanks for your time. Growth is our duty. Bye.